two expats from Colorado have started their own microbrewery in Mexico, and they pair their beers with pub food at Baja Brewing Company. I was lucky enough to have the head brewer, Jordan Gardenhire, taste me through all the varieties that they have to offer.
The first beer that we have in our lineup here is the Baja Blonde.
Baja Blonde, okay. How is it made?
This one is light malts, lightly hopped, and it's really the closest to a Mexican-style beer that we have.
Now, the next one in this lineup is super dark, and I would have expected that to go at the very end, but why did you put it there?
It looks like a really heavy stout,
yeah,
but it's actually the lightest bodied beer we make.
Even lighter than the blonde?
It actually is.
Okay, I want to go into this one. I see what you're getting at with the lightness there, but it's also got some dark notes in the flavor.
Very flavorful, a little bit toasted, coffee perhaps. Yeah. This is our Pele Roja, or Redhead Red.
And you named it after yourself?
Well, somebody named it after somebody. I'm not going to point any fingers, but yeah, I do make it.
Well, this is super delicious. Now, there's a lot of flavor going on in that one.
A lot of character.
Yeah.
This one you wouldn't want to drink so much on the beach, but maybe with dinner, maybe with a pizza, actually.
I think that's what I want to do. That's really super delicious.
They bake their pizzas in a wood-fired oven, and the thing is that they use some of the beer ingredients to make their pizza.
This is my partner, Rob.
You doing right?
Hello, Rob.
Very good to see you.
Rob does all the restaurant side of things.
And I can see we've got the iconic pairing of beer and pizza here, except this is beer pizza and beer, right?
This is beer pizza because we actually use beer in the dough itself. We use our special beer yeast, and if you can see, there's seeds on the outside, which is the grain that we use to actually make the beer.
So what you have on the outside is barley?
Barley, exactly, right, 2-row barley.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. But I don't just want to see it, I want to eat it too.
We'll it in there.
Let's do it. It works. Super classic. The richness of the beer goes beautifully with the richness of the tomato that's on there. The fresh basil just kind of pops through the whole thing. Good stuff.
One of my favorite things in the whole world is roasted tomatillo salsa. I just love the tanginess of it, the spiciness, and that little bit of sweetness that you get by roasting the tomatillos. I love the stuff so much I even use it as a pizza sauce. So when you want to make roasted tomatillo salsa, the first thing you have to do is take your fresh tomatillos and take the husks off of each one of them. They have a kind of sticky substance on the outside of it that you'll want to rinse off. Put them onto a small baking sheet so that I can roast them under a broiler. Now the chilies that are going to go in here are Serrano chilies, and all you have to do for those is to take the little stem end off. You can pop that off easily. Put those onto the baking sheet along with those tomatillos, and then we're just going to run it under the broiler. You want to make sure that your oven rack is at its highest position, about 4 inches away from that broiler. After about 4 or 5 minutes, they'll be softening and blotchy black on the top. Pull them out, turn them all over, run them back under the broiler, and let them roast for another 4 or 5 minutes on the other side. Then let them cool to room temperature. Now the cooled tomatillos and chilies I'm going to combine in the food processor, and to that I'm going to add a little fresh cilantro. So we've got a fresh element in the salsa to combine with those roasty elements of the tomatillos and green chilies. I like it to be the consistency of a kind of coarse puree. I'm going to scrape that into a bowl now and check the consistency of it. Add some salt. I'm going to stir that up. Last ingredient, a little white onion. So I'm going to cut the top and bottom off and chop it into very fine dice. Add that to the bowl, give it a stir, and you've got one of the best roasted tomatillo salsas in the world. I'm going to show you what has become the Bayless family favorite pizza, and it's going to use roasted tomatillo salsa. Now, yesterday I started what I think is the absolute easiest pizza dough. It's that no-knead dough that rises overnight. First, I measured 2 cups of all-purpose flour into a bowl, and then added 1/4 teaspoon of that instant or rapid rise yeast and a teaspoon of salt. I stirred all of that together, then measured in 1/2 cup of room temperature water and 1/3 cup of beer. You just stir that until it sort of comes together, but it still looks like a very rough mass. Then cover it with plastic and leave it on the countertop overnight. The first thing that we have to do is to cook the chorizo. So this is Mexican chorizo. It's not Spanish chorizo, which is a cured product that you could just simply slice and use. This is more like an American breakfast sausage, and it has to be thoroughly cooked. So I'm going to put it over about medium heat and then break up the sausage and cook it until it's completely cooked through and starting to brown. That'll take about 10 minutes or so. Now on to the pizza crust. I've got a rimmed baking sheet here and my overnight risen dough. You can see that it smells really good. All of that heady, yeasty aroma there. And it still looks a little bit rough, but it looks like bread dough. Now on this baking sheet, I'm gonna splash on a bunch of olive oil, and then I'll take my dough and turn it out into the baking sheet. First thing that's going to go on is roasted tomatillo salsa. Just spread that in a thin layer over the dough. Now next I'm going to scatter on the cooked chorizo sausage. Just give it a nice little coating all over. A couple of slices of red onion, really thin slices so that they'll cook in the oven. And then a little bit of fresh goat cheese. All over Mexico, there's wonderful goat cheeses to be had. Now I've had the oven on at 500 degrees for about half an hour because I want to make sure that it's really hot before I put the pizza in. Pizza should cook hot and really fast. I'm going to cook it in the middle of the oven. It'll take 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to sprinkle on a little of this Mexican queso añejo. Now, if you don't have that, you could use a little Romano. It has a similar kind of flavor. I'm going to take a few leaves of cilantro to sprinkle over the top. Pizza and beer.
Okay, so I fired up your appetite. Some of my favorite dishes, entertaining tips, and Mexican travel inspirations. Well, now I want to hear what you have to say. Visit us at rickbayless.com/TV for recipes and a whole lot more.